Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a Kandi Capybara. Things you will need are some tan colored beads, some dark brown colored beads, and some black colored beads, as well as some string of your choice. I like 1mm fabric covered elastic, some scissors, and a candy needle, which is optional. We're going to start by getting a decent amount of string, maybe a couple feet. And we're going to tie one of the ends to the candy needle. I usually do about 2 to 3 knots. Now we're going to start with his little nose. We're going to use the dark brown beads. Go ahead and put 7 of the brown beads on your string. And then we're going to just tie it off like a single. I like to tie about 5 knots. It should look like this once it's all tied. You can go ahead and cut off the little short side of the string. The string should be coming out between those 2 beads, and we're going to add 3 beads in a little triangle format with the tan beads. So here I am adding those 3 tan beads. And we're going to skip a bead and go through 2 beads. It should look something like this. Now we're going to add 3 more tan beads onto the string. And we're going to skip a bead and go through the next bead. And it should look like this. Next, we're going to put on 2 of the dark brown beads. We're going to skip a bead and go through that brown bead. Next, without putting a bead on, we're going to go through those 3 tan beads. Now that we're coming out of that tan bead, we're going to add 1 tan bead between the top 2 dark brown beads. So we're going to go through 1 of the dark brown beads. We're going to grab a tan bead and then put it through that next dark brown bead, as well as going through the next 3 tan beads as well. And it should look like this. Next, we're going to add another dark brown bead, skip 1, and go through that dark brown bead next to it. Then we're going to add a tan bead between those 2 dark brown beads. And then we're going to put on a dark brown bead and go through the next 3 tan beads. And it should look like this. So now we're going to add a tan bead and skip 1 and go through that tan bead that's next. And we're going to add another tan bead, and this time we're going to go through the 3 tan beads that are next and the dark brown bead that's also next. Now we're going to pick up a tan bead and skip a bead and go through the next tan bead. Add another tan bead, skip a bead and go through that dark brown bead that's next. Now we're just going to fill in all of the gaps with tan beads. And you should start to see his little face starting to form. The next step is going to be to add his eyes. You should be coming out of this bead right here. And we're going to add on one black bead for his eye. Then we're just going to add a few more tan beads the way we've been doing it. Now we can add on the other eye. And it should look like this. And now we're just going to go around adding tan colored beads. Time to do his body. All that we have to do is just keep adding tan beads all the way around until we get to the desired length of his body. I usually like to count 6 beads from his eye. I'll show a demonstration in the next couple clips. Here's what I mean when I say 6 beads from his eye. And the next part we're going to do is the capybara's backside. We're going to start by adding 3 and then going through 1. Now we're going to add 1 bead and go through the next one. Then 3 beads and go through the next gap. Then 1 bead and then go through the next gap. And then 3 beads, and then go through that gap. And then pick up 1 more bead, and go through the next gap. And we should have this triangle shape, and we're just going to go out until we're going through the tip of the triangle. Pull it tight, and then we're going to go through that sticky uppy bead, and then the tip of the triangle. And then the other bead that's sticking up, and the tip of the triangle. The last bead that's sticking up, and the tip of that next triangle. Go ahead and pull it really tight, and we're going to go through the 3 tips of the triangles, just to make it a little more sturdy and tight. Then you can go ahead and tie it off. Once you have it tied off, it should look something like this. And now it's time to add his legs. We're going to go down 4 beads and add the string kind of like a ladder stitch. We're going to add 2 beads on both sides of the strings. Then we're going to put the 1 bead through one string and cross over the other string. And then you just pull it tight and tie a knot. Once that knot is tied, you can go ahead and cut off both sides of the strings. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. This is where his back leg will go, and here's where the other back leg will go through. Go ahead and add the beads and tie it tight, and it should look like this. Now it's time for his ears. We're going to tie a piece of string onto that bead right there next to the eye. Add on 3 of the dark brown beads. Here is where we're going to put the bead through. And it should look kind of like that. Now we're going to go through the bead next to it, and one more bead next to it as well. Then we can add on 3 more dark brown beads. And put it through that bead next to it. Last but not least, I tied my candy needle back on so I could tie it a little bit easier. And we can go ahead and cut off that excess string. And here we have your capybara. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope it was easy enough to follow.